here I am in the kitchen with Matthew Perry while he's trying to smoke heroin, which to my knowledge, he's never done before. And I didn't know how to help him, so it was just madness.
There were 5 people put on an ECMO machine that night, and the other 4 died, and I survived. So the big question is, why? Why was I the one that survived? There has to be some kind of reason.
Matthew Perry's death certificate has been released by the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health following his passing October 28th.
The official documentation detailing Matthew Perry's demise has been unveiled by the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health, subsequent to his passing on October 28. Kaity Edwards, Matthew Perry's former girlfriend, is leveling some substantial accusations regarding the enigmatic circumstances surrounding Matthew's demise. She asserts that Matthew did not meet his end by drowning in his jacuzzi, contrary to the initial police statement. Kaity has also disclosed the thematic content of Matthew's final Instagram posts, alluding to water and Batman. Convinced that these Instagram messages may conceal clues about the true nature of his demise, especially given that Matthew was discovered lifeless in a jacuzzi next to a prominent Batman sign illuminated in red lights. Kaity is casting doubt on the official account of Matthew's drowning. Simultaneously, the release of Matthew's death certificate by the LA County Department of Public Health further intensifies skepticism surrounding the officially presented narrative of his drowning. But what precisely did Kaity articulate about Matthew's final days, and why is she resolute in her belief that he did not drown?
I went through the doorway and I see his assistant in his kitchen on the phone, and I hear Matthew screaming my name.
The abrupt passing of Friends star Matthew Perry continues to be a subject of speculation online, with additional details emerging about his final days. Matthew breathed his last on the afternoon of October 28, shortly after returning to his Los Angeles residence from a 2-hour pickleball session. Subsequent to his return, he dispatched his assistant to attend to some errands. Upon the assistant's return, Matthew was discovered unresponsive in his backyard jacuzzi. An intimate funeral, attended by former Friends cast members and family, saw Matthew laid to rest at the Forest Lawn Cemetery in Hollywood Hills.
Friends by name and by nature, farewelling one of their own. David Schwimmer, Lisa Kudrow, Courtney Cox, and Jennifer Aniston arriving at a church at the Forest Lawn Cemetery in Los Angeles, embracing each other and mourning Matthew Perry, whose casket was wheeled in. Matthew Perry's father, John Bennett Perry, his mother, Suzanne, and stepfather, Keith Morrison, joining other loved ones in a private service for the star who made so many people laugh.
The investigation into the specifics of Matthew's demise is still ongoing. While the Los Angeles County has released the death certificate, the cause of death is marked as deferred, signifying that the autopsy has not conclusively determined the cause, prompting further investigation by the medical examiner. The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner Coroner's Office initially cited other significant conditions as contributing factors to the death, and the results of toxicology tests are still pending. Dr. Michael Baden, former Chief Medical Examiner of New York City, expressed the unusual nature of this delay, suggesting that the toxicology report should have been completed by now. At this point, they've got pretty much 99 of what they're going to get as far as information goes, and they can release it now or they can wait for a couple more weeks because they're looking for some unknown drug, Dr. Baden told Fox News Digital. Meanwhile, fans continue to speculate whether Matthew's Instagram activity in the days leading up to his death may provide clues to the sudden demise. Matthew openly battled serious addiction throughout much of his adult life. Nevertheless, he claimed in one of his final interviews to have been entirely sober since 2021. Since in the period leading up to the release of his memoir in November 2022, Matthew expressed gratitude for being alive. "I'm an extremely grateful guy. I'm grateful to be alive, that's for sure. And that gives me the possibility to do anything," Matthew said. Additionally, Athena Crosby, a friend of Matthew's who was the last person to see him alive besides his assistant, vehemently asserted that there was no possibility of Matthew relapsing, claiming he was 100 sober at the time of his demise. Athena was spotted sharing a lunch with Matthew just a day before his demise. Speaking to TMZ, she attested that Matthew exuded high spirits, passionately discussing forthcoming endeavors. Contrary to speculations of a relapse, Athena vehemently asserted, "I just want to defend him and emphasize that it was not." Marta Kaufman, co-creator of Friends, informed Today that Matthew remained sober and in positive spirits during their conversation merely 2 weeks before his untimely death.
He seemed better than I had seen in a while. I was so thrilled to see that. He was emotionally in a good place. He looked good. He quit smoking.
Do you know if he was sober at that point?
Yes, he was sober.
In a stark contrast, Matthew's former girlfriend, Kaity Edwards, portrayed a divergent narrative in a recent interview. She asserted that Matthew's final Instagram posts, alluding to water and Batman, were unmistakable signals of a relapse, a silent plea for assistance. In an exclusive dialogue with the U.S. Sun, Kaity suggested that Matthew's recurrent references to his alter ego, Matman, in the weeks leading up to his demise, indicated a relapse. Kaity expressed skepticism, stating, "There are a lot of things that aren't adding up for me. I don't believe he just drowned in his jacuzzi. That doesn't sound right." Refuting the police's claim of no illegal substances at the scene, she argued that the absence of evidence didn't negate the possibility of Matthew consuming substances earlier. According to Kaity, Matthew was meticulous about concealing drugs, ensuring none were left visible. Dismissing the notion of prescription painkillers at the scene, Kaity remarked, "He was paranoid and would take them all so there wasn't any evidence, and then go out for more when he was ready to." Highlighting Matthew's unusual surge in Instagram activity in the week before his demise, Kaity contended that these posts featuring Matman, water, and even pickleball were conspicuous red flags. She emphasized that such Matman references were uncharacteristic of Matthew when sober, noting Matman would come out when he was not sober, and he felt kind of invincible. Recounting Matthew's affinity for water during drug use, Kaity recalled an incident where she had to retrieve him from his neighbor's pool in Hollywood Hills. He had a thing with water when he was doing drugs, she disclosed. Athena was observed sharing a lunch rendezvous with Matthew just a day before his demise. Speaking to TMZ, she asserted that Matthew exuded high spirits, enthusiastically discussing upcoming ventures in his life. Dispelling speculations of a relapse, Athena staunchly defended him, stating it was not the case. Marta Kaufman, co-creator of Friends, affirmed Matthew's sobriety and positive state during their conversation, a mere fortnight before his passing, as she shared with Today. Contrastingly, Matthew's ex-girlfriend, Kaity Edwards, offered a divergent narrative in a recent interview. She contended that Matthew's final Instagram posts, alluding to water and Batman, were indicative of a resumption of substance use, portraying a plea for assistance. Speaking exclusively to the U.S. Sun, Kaity posited that Matthew's recurrent mentions of his alter ego, Batman, on Instagram preceding his demise signaled a relapse. Expressing skepticism, Kaity remarked, "There are a lot of things that aren't adding up for me. I don't believe he just drowned in his jacuzzi. That doesn't sound right." Casting doubt on the official findings, she suggested a potential involvement of pills in the week leading up to his death. Although the police discovered various prescription medications at Matthew's residence, including antidepressants and anti-anxiety meds, they asserted the absence of illicit substances at the scene. Disputing this claim, Kaity argued that Matthew, always cautious, ensured no drugs were visibly present. He was paranoid and would take them all so there wasn't any evidence, and then go out for more when he was ready to, she said. Highlighting Matthew's unusual Instagram activity, Kaity emphasized his rare postings, which intensified in the week before his demise. She asserted that references to Matman, water, and pickleball were conspicuous red flags, particularly since Matman was a persona associated with non-sober states. Recalling past experiences, Kaity revealed Matthew's penchant for water-related activities while under the influence, narrating an incident where he was found naked and high in his Hollywood Hills neighbor's pool. In summary, conflicting accounts surrounding Matthew's final days and the circumstances of his death have surfaced, with Athena defending his positive state, Kaufman vouching for his sobriety, and Edwards presenting a narrative suggesting a relapse through social media clues and past behavior. he perpetually yearned for the solace of either the pool or the jacuzzi. Matthew found himself in solitude during his final moments, and Kaity asserted that this was a regular facet of his drug-related rituals. According to The Sun, whenever he indulged in substances, he ensured complete isolation. Kaity also previously disclosed that, in a desperate bid to conquer his addiction, Matthew resorted to an extreme measure, supergluing his hands to his legs to thwart any attempt to reach for drugs or alcohol. Kaity reflected on the profound inner turmoil Matthew grappled with, a struggle that seemed to transcend his seemingly idyllic childhood. Despite the love of his parents and the presence of supportive siblings, there existed an elusive battle that he carried with him to the grave. While some of Matthew's fans expressed displeasure at Kaity's divulgence of such personal details, many concurred that his final Instagram posts were indicative of a plea for help. One fan emphasized the significance of the Instagram video featuring cranberries, asserting that it provided insights into the circumstances surrounding his passing. "Rip Matthew Perry, you will be missed," lamented another fan, attributing the recurring bat signal picture to what seemed like distress signals akin to a call for Batman. It became apparent that he was reaching out for assistance. However, a segment of theorists delved deeper into speculation, suggesting that Matthew might not have been alone in his demise. One individual proposed the possibility of foul play, linking it to an appeal for help in battling addiction, drawing parallels to the fate of Michael Jackson. Another person theorized that Matthew, aware of looming threats, sought help, potentially holding crucial information. The conversation expanded to the peculiar pattern of celebrities meeting their end in bathtubs, prompting one individual to comment on the strange occurrence. The post concluded by encouraging viewers to share their perspectives on the various theories surrounding Matthew's passing and the ambiguous nature of his final Instagram post. So what's your thought, Matthew Perry? Tell us in the comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.